What's up, guys? So today we're going to do a quick video to give you some tools and techniques on how to design your identity, design that character that you are becoming. If you're embodying, you're looking to switch your self-concept, you have some old qualities, they're not really serving you that well. You know, as you know, they're probably built up over beliefs. A lot of them may be limiting beliefs. And if you guys are interested in removing those limiting beliefs, check out the download below. I have an ebook that gives you exactly the tools on how to do that, reinstall those new empowering beliefs. But today, the exercise that I'm going to share with you guys is how to install and instill these new qualities in yourself. And that's a big part of becoming that new version of yourself, stepping into a 2.0 version of yourself. And it's definitely related to, you can check out this video up that I left up here recently about identifying what your values are so that you're living in accordance with your values. But with these qualities that we're embodying, it's a bit different than the values, because values is, generally speaking, you could value peace, freedom, harmonious relationships and harmony in your life. There's some others that I wrote down here, and some of them can overlap. Like maybe you value being a strong person, being a courageous person, right? But some of those things, like wanting peace in your life, wanting the ability to have freedom, wanting to do something that is in alignment with your passions, for example, doing something that's impactful, those things, and having joy in your life, all those things are values, right? Whereas qualities, even though there might be a few that overlap, I've got my qualities, I wrote them down here, and you can see, if you can read those, that, first I have competence. I really value competency, my ability to be competent at whatever it is that I'm doing, so that can extend to any situation, right? But I have strength, courageousness, decisiveness, playfulness, self-assuredness, trusting in myself, the ability to be focused, resilient, carefree, emotionally controlled. And so a lot of these things, focused, organized, resilient. I don't know if I already said that one, but these things are character qualities. And so they're things that you want to, when you imagine yourself and who it is that you are, who it is that you're becoming, you want to have these qualities. So that would be whenever you're, in any situation, whether it be that you're doing your work, you want to imagine that you are focused. You imagine sitting down at your computer, and I'm actually, instead of having a million tabs open, or even if I do have a bunch of tabs open, I have a time limit. I have, whether it is, time chunking, whether it is, I'm not going to allow myself to get up until I've written this page in my book or this chapter in my book. It is being in alignment with these qualities, right? And so figuring out these qualities, from there you can gather techniques that are in alignment, but this is a very foundational piece into building up that new version of yourself. And so for you guys, what I'm going to share with you, first off, writing down these lists, and you can borrow some of the ones that I wrote, but I really would encourage you to come up with your own, because you are not going to be able to, if you see a list of qualities that you like, of course, everybody wants to be creative, everybody wants to be competent, right? But really, when you sit down and you think of what it is that you want, that's how it, and identify in situations where, it could be, again, with work, it could be in social situations. Where is it that you think that you've been lacking? Is it that you want more confidence? Do you feel shy in social situations? Do you feel like you're maybe too much of a people pleaser? Like maybe you say yes too much. So maybe it's the ability to be discerning of the people around you. Maybe it's the ability to say no, the ability to have boundaries, so the ability to stand up for yourself. So that could all be decisiveness, self-assuredness, trusting in yourself. These are some of the ones that I wrote. And, breaking that down into again, that comes in with strength, that comes in with the courage to say no, the courage to be disliked. And when you break down let's say that you write a list and you go down, I wrote like a pretty big list. There's probably at least 20, 25 things on this list. You don't need to write as many, you just write as many, just kind of do like a brain dump with it and do as many as you feel are valuable for you. And then what I did actually after that is I kind of grouped them. So I wrote them down again, and there's 3 different separate lists here. And one thing that's valuable about this is that once you've kind of done your brain dump initially gotten them all down and written them out, now you can divide them up. And what I've done here is that these top ones right here, got competent, strong, courageous, decisive, self-assured, resilient. So these all are kind of, you could call these as a blanket kind of grouping. You could call them being purposeful, or you could call them being related to strength. It could be, or courage, right? The courage to be authentic, the strength to be resilient, to be like that oak tree. Even when there's a storm, it's like the calm in the storm, right? And that's what you're cultivating with these types of things. And so I have all of those written underneath that group. And the cool thing about this is that if you guys are doing and engaging maybe in a little bit of that visualization, like I mentioned in a recent video, where you're imagining these qualities, you're imagining yourself with these qualities, all of these are grouped together now so that you can see, okay, well, yeah, me being decisive is also part and parcel with me being self-assured, with me trusting in myself, because by trusting in myself, that means that I'm going to be able to make good decisions and make decisions on my feet, right? That's also a part of me being proactive, which is another thing. It's like, okay, my ability to be decisive is also goes hand in hand with my ability to be proactive, because somebody that's proactive, that's moving towards their goals, that is somebody that has courage, somebody that has that confidence, that inner knowing to be like, yeah, you know what, this is right for me. And again, that goes back to, of course, there's going to be other people. There's always going to be other people that are causing doubt, that are questioning you. But when you have that courage and that strength and that resiliency to stand firm in your knowing and what you know is right for you, you're not going to be pushed around so much by other people's opinions, okay? And that is, again, that you're going to be able to be authentic because you're not going to care what other people think, or maybe you will. It's hard for us to not care at all. It's kind of hardwired into us as human beings to seek other people's approval in a certain degree, because as we grew up in tribes, we don't want to be ostracized from the tribe, right? But there is this ability to still know and still be, as long as you're not doing anything that's hurting somebody else or somebody that's stepping on other people's toes, that ability to be calm and confident in your decision-making process is something that you can cultivate for sure. And it's not saying that you're not going to be aware of what people are saying, but it's not going to affect you to such a degree that it stifles you, prevents you from you doing what you know to be, right for you, what you know is the right thing to do. And again, that could go back in with a bit of selfishness. It can go back in with a little bit of that quality of being unbothered, unreactive, because you're not reacting so much to people. You've chosen your intention, and you trust in yourself. You are self-assured, and you are strong in who it is that you are being. So then this other grouping that I wrote here was called, I don't know, I didn't put a name for any of these groups, but the group, what it has is it's clear. So it's having clarity, organized, focused, discerning, intuitive, emotionally controlled. And so all of those things are going to be things that are, again, that ability to be focused is also going to be, contingent on your ability to be organized. If you're completely disorganized, if everything is this way, that way, you have no single kind of guiding compass as to where you're going, or kind of routine and as to what you're doing, you're going to be completely at the whims of your emotions, right? You're not going to be emotionally controlled. You're not going to be discerning as to what you should allocate your time to and what you shouldn't. You're not going to be clear, right? And so having that clarity, being able to see what it is, see the truth of the situation, those things all go with that. And when you're dealing with people too, the ability to be emotionally controlled means that you're going to have clarity because you're not being clouded by your emotions. When you deal with a situation, whether it be at work, whether it be a personal situation, you're going to be, again, discerning to be able to spot what's going on. If you're dealing with somebody that is saying something and it's really not clicking, it really doesn't feel right, it doesn't really make sense what they're doing or what they're saying, their words aren't lining up with their actions, you're going to have that discernment, you're going to have that clarity, you'll be able to observe it and say, okay, well, maybe this person is whatever they may be. Maybe they're being manipulative, maybe they are just at a low level of consciousness, but I see this for what it is, and I'm not going to get propelled or be compelled to act in a way that is not in accordance with my values. And again, that goes back to why it's important to cultivate your values as well. But the qualities that you're embodying and that you're learning to embody by doing this exercise, you're going to go in through situations. You're going to go through these situations now being aware of these qualities that you want to possess, and you're going to be able to act in accordance with these qualities rather than, again, because this is giving you clarity. Again, this is giving you that focus to say, hey, I've written down all these ways that I prefer to be, these ways that I prefer of being, and I'm not going to allow these people to push me off my course. I'm not going to allow external circumstances. I'm not going to allow the 3D to come in here and push me around and tell me what to do when I know I've already made this intention of how it is that I'm planning to show up, the way that I am going to be interacting with the 3D and people around me. So then the third grouping that I did was more of the expressive category, more of that creative category. And again, this goes into kind of like the ability to be in a flow state, because when we're connected to that higher creative energy, that's when we have that, because now we're not stifled. Now we're not in our head so much. Now we're not questioning every single thing that we do. And again, it's funny because this goes back into trusting yourself, which is the strength. But so you see how all of these different things connect. So the ability to be creative, the ability to be, and I wrote grateful, fun, brilliant, generous, playful, expressive, and carefree, right? And again, that ties in with the kind of emotional, the ability to be unwavering, like emotionally, right? But the thing is, you will cultivate more of this expressiveness, more of this natural creativity when you kind of get out of your own way. And what I mean by getting out of your own way is like getting into that chatter of the mind, getting into that questioning, that constant questioning and that constant doubting. And again, that goes into lack of trust, because when you trust yourself, when you trust that higher self, and you trust your intuition, you're going to have that discernment. You're going to have the ability to say, hey, you know what? It's all good. And if you do something that rubs someone the wrong way, when you're being expressive, when you're being creative, whatever, you can take a look at it. You can, if you really did step on some toes, you can go ahead and apologize. If you know you really did something that was actually wrong, you can apologize. But other than that, like, no need to apologize, because you're being yourself. But you can always say, look, if you offend somebody, or if something that you does is offend, you'd be like, hey, I didn't really mean it like that. This is how I meant. And honestly, like, I value more so being real and authentic than, just walking on eggshells and making sure that I'm not offending anybody. And more often than not, you'll find that people actually respect that when you actually come and are being authentic with people like that, because people want to interact with people that are authentic. That's a very magnetic quality, right? And when you're being yourself, when you're being true to yourself, and when you're trusting yourself, even if you do say something that maybe wasn't, the most perfect thing to say, or you acted in a way that wasn't, the most polite way, a lot of the times people will respect that, and people will, overlook the fact that maybe it wasn't, like I said, the most polite thing, the most politically correct thing, because people are hungry for that nowadays. Everybody's become so politically correct, so overly concerned about offending people, that in my experience, people really do genuinely value it when people are willing to be, like I said, authentic, when people are willing to be genuine. And sometimes being genuine, and if not, then I would argue that you don't really want those people in your life. If you're not able to be genuine with people, if you're not able to be direct with people, give people constructive criticism, really come at people in an authentic and genuine way, then those people are very insecure. Either they're very insecure, or they're not willing to look at their own faults, they're not willing to look at what it is that they could improve. And oftentimes, if you do have, and of course, there's a lot of nuance that goes into this, right? And the ways that men and women seem to interact seem to be different as well. I was reading the Way of the Superior Man recently, and I'm probably going to do a book review on that. But it says that women and the feminine tends to respond more towards praise. So if you praise something that you like and appreciate that they're doing, they will be, more inclined to want to continue with that. Whereas it says in the book, the masculine responds more towards a challenge. So a lot of the times, if you kind of challenge a man who's like living in his masculine energy, he will respond towards that challenge and want to overcome the challenge, or he might respond better to that kind of critical guidance that you might be providing. But regardless, with regardless of the nuance, cultivating your ability to cultivate these different qualities and then embody them is going to really begin to shift you into that direction of what it is that you want. Because you'll find that throughout the day, whether it is that you want to be more expressive, whether it is that you want to be more honest and authentic with your communication, once you have this in your awareness, once you've written these things down, now you really have the ability to kind of go back and reflect and see, hey, like I've become aware of these things now. Now these things are in my awareness. Now you might catch yourself robotically affirming them, or you might just catch yourself acting in ways that are alignment with this because you've consciously set that intention, and now it is active in your subconscious. But that's the importance of doing this exercise, is going in, really realizing what qualities that you want to embody for yourself, and then being that, then stepping into your life, stepping into your day, and just being that. Just by me going and doing this right now, being decisive, I've made the decision. I was earlier like, yeah, I'm gonna hit the gym today, but I was also working on some other stuff. But now I'm just like, you know what? I'm gonna hit it as soon as I'm done recording this video. And so with all that being said, this is gonna compound. These things, when you reflect on this, yeah, I'm proactive, I'm resilient, I'm trusting in myself, I'm discerning, I can spot what's going on in these situations, I'm clear, I'm organized, I'm focused, and you keep telling yourself that. I mean, that's again the power of robotic affirming, the power of entertaining a new narrative. And this will happen really by getting clear on these, and that's the clarity comes in again. By getting clear on them, writing them down for yourself, there's a power in that. There's a real true power in that. And that's one way that you can begin on this task and begin solidifying that new identity, solidifying those new character qualities. Kind of like creating a character in a video game, like if you guys play any games, whether it's whatever it might be, you got stats in the games, right? So you have in these different skills in like God of War, for example, you have these different skill sets, right? And you need to go around, you need to go through the experience, but you see the skill set, and so you acquire that new skill, and now you have that new ability. And this is kind of like what this is, guys. It takes practice, it takes implementing it, but it has to begin with knowing what it is. You can't do something without knowing what it is. It's like you don't know what you don't know, right? So if you know that these are the qualities that you're going to be embodying, whether it's you're working on your passion project, or you are, again, trying to overcome social anxiety, or getting past being shy with people, or getting past that people-pleasing nature, you find that you're not able to set boundaries with people, that people are people are taking advantage of you, or people are not respecting those boundaries that you, even if you did set them. So this ability now, being decisive, being strong, having that strength to say, no, that's not working for me. And then you can walk, if it's necessary, you just walk away from a situation, right? But there's some sort of consequences. Then there has to be some sort of consequences. Let's say that it's a family member and they're overstepping and they keep asking you for favors and doing this and doing this and doing this. You just tell them, like, straight up, I don't have time for this. I'm working on my other things, and this is a line in the sand. This is where the line draws. I'm willing to help you out with these things when I have time, but for this, like, I can't. Like, you're gonna have to find somebody else. And that's just part of, again, that goes in with you have to be able to set these boundaries if you want to live your best life, step into your best version of yourself, because there's constantly in our lives going to be people vying for our attention, vying for our energy, and especially when these people they're not serving us back in return. Even if it is a family member, even if it is somebody very close to us, we can't just be giving of our time and energy like this without any discernment. And I said that in a recent video. You can think about it like with money too. People that just spend their money without any sort of paying attention to what they're spending on, they're going to end up with no money. They're going to end up in debt, right? And that's what's happening with our energy and with our time and attention. We, by allowing ourselves to keep spending it without putting in a wall and saying, hey, look, if I'm not getting a return on my investment, I can't just keep indiscriminately spending this energy or money, right? And so if it's not an investment, if it's not a return on my investment, then I need to keep the walls up. I need to keep the money within this container here, my energy within this, so that I'm not, like I said, just spending it without any return on that investment. So anyways, guys, much love as always. Let me know if this video gave you any inspiration. Let me know if you guys have done an exercise or let me know if you guys do this exercise. I'd be really curious to see what types of qualities you guys actually are coming up with. And actually, that would be amazing. If you guys are doing this, drop down in the comments some of the qualities that you are looking to build into yourself. That would be really useful for everybody else that's watching this, everybody else that's doing this. And it would be cool for me to see as well what the types of qualities that you guys are coming up with and embodying. With that being said, much love. Drop this video a like, hit me with a subscribe, and I will see you guys in the next video.